Now we're going in, it is what, like the 19th of April today, so it's not actually a Friday. I lied. I'm not technically even unemployed, but we can get to that later. Good morning. It's everyone's favorite unemployed plant guy on a random Friday morning, and I'm going to be doing an update on some figs that I have. Last time I worked on this one, I chopped it in half with a chainsaw. Probably won't be being that drastic today. This was literally just a stump with no leaves. That was about a year ago. Now it's come back. I've done a little bit of cutting here and there, but mostly I've just left it to grow. Probably just do a little bit of a trim up and a repot because it's been in this for ages. And then this is probably the oldest tree I have. It doesn't look like that, but it's been growing in a very small pot for so long. It's starting to get a bit root bound in this as well, so I'll be working on that one. But first things first, let's get this one out of the pot. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I can see it. I've strapped this one in so it didn't go anywhere, but I also think the roots have probably grown around it. Might be easiest to cut it out from underneath. There we go. It's coming. That can be used for something. Got this one. Get it out of the pot. Now, alright. Let's lift this bad boy out if I can. See what we're working with. There we go. Alright. So it's not too bad. Considering what I put it in, like the dirt wise, it was just random stuff that I found. Like the root ball actually looks decent. It looks kind of fine and fibrous, which I'm surprised about. I thought this thing would just be growing big like sweet potato roots, because these things always do. I'm not entirely sure exactly what kind of ficus it is. I know it is one, but if you live on the eastern coast of Australia, you would have seen these probably growing like street lining trees. Let's just see what we're working with here. Now we're going in, it is what, like the 19th of April today, so it's not actually a Friday. I lied. I'm not technically even unemployed, but we can get to that later. I'll beat the allegations. Yeah, we're heading like into winter right now, which is usually like when the trees are starting to go into dormancy, and they will start sending energy to the roots as opposed to growth up top. Well, that's a pretty easy decision. This root is kind of coming from here and then going, it was growing back around like that. I'm just gonna, I don't know, cut it like here, because it will be a surface root is the thing, so I might cut it like back that way at a bit of an angle. I don't have a rubbish bin with me. That was a minor oversight. I'll have to bring one. Working through here, that's got a pretty good one as well, but I will trim it back a little bit, probably like to there, just because I don't want it to get too big. This plant already has enough really large roots, like this one at the front that I'm working around. You probably can't see it. There's not many growing out from underneath it, so maybe I can do something with that. Maybe cut into it and try and get it to sprout some more. But apart from that, it's looking better than I thought it would. I thought there'd be way more kind of yammy sweet potato roots in there, but this is surprisingly easy to kind of comb out. There's one in here that's kind of growing. You probably can't really see it. There's some roots in here that are growing kind of in that way, which I don't really want, so I'm just going to take them out. They're attached to something. But apart from that, like, the root ball is actually pretty fibrous and fine, which I really was not expecting, so that's always a nice surprise. Alright, let me find something to put this dirt in, and then we'll come back and we'll work on the top. Found something. That might be overkill, but at least I have a rubbish bin now, which is always handy, because it does get messy doing this kind of work. And that's actually not terrible. I might even reuse some of that just at the bottom because I'm lazy. There might be a box of dirt over there that I think I could use, but for the most part, on these trees, these grow like weeds where I live. I don't really give them anything special or even like expensive soil mixes. I've got some maples and junipers over there that you can't see, but actually the maples are over there, the junipers are over there. They get a bit more of a special treatment. Alright, so let's look at this, because the thing is, I want this to be the front, but the apex is growing from the back here. It's not growing from the front, and that makes things tricky. And without being too drastic, I think this here on the front could be a good apex, which means that I'd have to take this off, but also this could be a good apex as well. This is nice and thick, but that's growing more upright, so what I might do is usually want the thinner branches anyway. They're a bit more pliable. The only thing annoying about this tree is when it does grow, it gets these little kind of walls, I guess. Hello, little spider. Sorry to destroy your home. You get these little walls kind of growing out here where the branches stem from. You could actually use this as a cutting. Like, kind of strip it back like that. That's probably too many leaves, but like something like this, and then just jam it in the ground. If you're anywhere remotely subtropical, this thing will sprout in a matter of weeks. I was trimming a different ficus, this one, maybe a month or so ago. I actually need to do a bit of work on this one as well, but these are just some cuttings I took off, and they've actually started growing in there, and that's taken a month, if that. Okay, so let's continue moving around the tree. I'm probably just going to throw all that in the garden when I'm done with it. I might reuse the dirt, we'll see. Keep moving around. So let's assume that's the front. There's this, it actually starts back here, it grows under this, so we'll get rid of that. I don't really want it, even to thicken up the trunk. I could leave it as a sacrificial, but then I'd have a big scar on the front of the tree, which I'm not really interested in. Further, these are growing up. Don't want them, don't want them. I kind of just want anything that's growing out. So even this here, I'm probably just going to take back to there. This, might just take it back to there and see what happens. This leaf is growing back toward me. I kind of want it to go that way, but I don't have another better option for now, so I might just leave it. Same with this one, probably want it to go over there, so we'll cut it here. That leaf is pointing that way, so it'll kind of eventually fill in like that. I don't really want to wire it just because I can't be bothered. Also the wire is over there. I could wire it. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like in the end. Okay. There's a tiny little growth here which is interesting. I don't know if you can see it, but like a tiny little leaf. Maybe. We'll see. I'll leave it. Alright, let's look at it from the front. I'm going to leave these on the back, probably not this one. This one here is just growing straight down, and then this one here kind of grows back across and intercepts it. So I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm also going to get rid of this one just because it's growing too far down, which leaves me with this, and I'm unsure what to do with that. Also these back ones, what I might do, okay, oh, I don't want to do that. That was aggressive. We're really hacking this back to no man's land. This I kind of want to keep. I have to do something with all this stuff on the back. I'm probably going to get rid of that as well. All this stuff on the back, there's just too much visual weight going on here, but it is growing really well. This is the apex though, and they are very, like pretty much every tree, apically dominant. So I do want to thin it pretty aggressively to give this as the new leader room, but I don't know where to cut it back to, so let's just cut it back to about an inch or so on everything. There's one here that's just growing kind of, oh, maybe I'll keep that. That one's growing straight up. I'll take it off there. So we've pretty much taken it back to a stump again. Is there more I want to do with it? I'm probably going to take this back a little bit just because it's a bit too long. I'll leave that one grow for a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be a side branch or a back branch yet. It kind of does hang out at the back. Maybe it'll be a side branch. I can probably push that around to the back in a way, ideally. We'll see. There's a little growth coming from the back just here. So we'll see. It looks like it wants to go up. We'll see which direction that goes. Leave it for next time. Well, that's the first one out of the way. I guess we'll pot it up. I'm running out of bench space. I didn't think that would be the problem that I had here. I found a box of dirt that I mostly use for like indoor plants, but in that box of dirt I found some propagations I've done. Some maples that have died off. This is a Ficus benjamina, a variegated version that's doing quite well, and this looks like, I think this is a cutting of a Shimpaku juniper that I have, but it's very juvenile, so it probably doesn't really look like anything. I might pot them up as well, just while we're at it. Let's line the pot with a wire, just so we can secure this in. And it's not super important that I get it secured, because for one, I've already cut it in half and left it with absolutely nothing and abused its root system once before. This is like a minor surgery for it. Okay, quick coffee break. Thread this through. Oh no, I've not done this equally. There we go, that's equal-ish. There's no real process to doing this. I just kind of push them out the way and then eventually I'll bring them back in. What I am going to do though is I'm going to reuse that wheelbarrow dirt just to put in the bottom, because it is quite sandy, gritty. It provides good drainage, which is always good. This stuff is mostly for indoor plants, so it has like some bark chips and sphagnum moss in it. It's kind of a bit like, it's not what I would normally use as bonsai soil, but I only have a finite amount and I can't really be bothered to go and make up a lot more, because I know that today is going to be a long day of doing this kind of stuff, so let's just get into it. Now let's see how the tree sits. Which side do I want as the front? I have options. I have a sparrow bird side, or I have some Chinese letters side. I can't read Mandarin, so I'm probably going to go with the sparrow little bird side. This is the front. See how it sits. And I kind of like it at that height. I have significantly underestimated how much wire I would need, but that is fine. I just need them to touch. That's all I want. Thank you. Try not to clamp my finger because that would suck. And then, ooh, I got my finger anyway. Then we're just going to twist them. Pull and twist. That's what you do. Twist a little bit, pull it out as you're twisting. That way it keeps it kind of taut on the tree. That's pretty good. Okay, that's in place good enough. Probably fill it more from this side in under to keep it more that way. The good thing about this dirt, soil, whatever you want to call it, substrate, is it is mostly perlite and orchid bark and sphagnum moss mixed with just like some normal potting mix. So there's a lot of organic matter, a lot of organic stuff in here, which is going to be good. The only thing is when I come to revisit this, it will not surprise me because it's not so fine particled, at least. There's probably going to be a lot of big ugly roots that would need hacking back, but that's fine. This tree is very much in development, so I'm going to give it all of the kind of support it can by using organic stuff and not just going into like lava rock akadama pumice, which my normal mix if I'm doing a bonsai tree is akadama, pumice, about 50-50 of that, so 25% of each, and then 50% of just some premium potting mix, but everything gets sifted, so you just end up with the smaller kind of pine bark in there. I tried doing a third of each, but it just ended up drying out. Everything dried out before I got a chance to really water it, especially if I'm leaving these in the care of someone else or away from them for a period, so you don't need to use a chopstick. I just poke it in with my finger. Well, that is that tree done for the most part, so I'll kind of bring you in a little bit closer so you can see. Okay, that is tree 1 done. I'll move this aside and we'll start working on that one. That one, by which I mean this one. And depending on how long that took, there might be a part 2. If there is a part 2, thank you. Thanks for watching. I've been Unemployed Plant Guy, and if you like the video, like the video. Thank you. Oh, coffee.